Hello, agro lovers, farm owners, and agripreneurs in the house. Welcome back to your favorite agricultural and agribusiness YouTube channel. And on today's episode, we'll be looking at cashew farming as a whole. We'll be looking at cashew as a crop and the cost and the requirements you need to establish your own cashew farm, at least on an hectare, for example. So it's really like a kind of surprise for me that I've not been able to make this kind of topic, this kind of video, because I'm from a place whereby cashew is like the mainstay of our economy. I'm from Ogbomoso, and if you know Ogbomoso very well, cashew is our number one top rated crop. As in, there's hardly a family you will see that doesn't have a cashew farm. And during the cashew season, you will see so many foreigners, I mean Oyinbos, the white people, will come around to come and buy cashew for export. So cashew is so much a big industry in my town. So, and I look through my channel and I only have like 2 or 3 cashew video. Can you imagine? So today I'll be giving you some kind of things, information you need to know, and concerning the requirements and the cost you'll be needing to set up your own cashew farm. So let's get to it. So first and foremost, cashew as a crop or cashew as a tree is a permanent crop, is a perennial crop, and cashew farming is one of the leading crop of export value in Nigeria. And in the past, I think last year, Nigeria exported like 200,000 tons of cashew nut, of cashew kernel, I mean, because they are not nuts, because they've not been processed. So that is how big it is. It provides job for so many people working in the plantation, the transporters, the middlemen, and a whole lot of people. So our cashew is grown majorly for its nut, because it's one of the most expensive nuts globally, if not the most expensive. I think macadamia is the most expensive. I'm not sure, but cashew is one of the most expensive nuts globally, and it's known for its unique taste and all the sort. Everybody loves cashew nut. So also the cashew juice is gradually gaining popularity now because it's used because of its low pH value. Is an alkaline drink, and it have some medicinal purpose or medicinal use. It's also used in producing a liquor. The cashew apple is also used in producing liquor. So those are the things that are derivable from cashew. But the major thing that cashew is being grown for is the cashew nut. So having said that, you want to establish your cashew farm. You want to start a cashew farm. I will advise you don't use a rented land, because cashew is a permanent crop. It is a crop whose production lifespan lasts up to about 30 to 35 years. So you will not be doing that on a rented land. You need to get your own land. So, and the cost of land varies from location to location. In my home village in Ogbomoso, you can get an acre of land from 100, 150, 200, 250, depending on the location and depending on the distance. So I don't know about your own location, but that's just like an overview. So having said that, you need seedling. So for you to know the number of seedling you'll be planting, you need about 170 to 180 seedling to plant on an hectare. So because the spacing for cashew is around 7 meter by 7 meter or 8 meter by 8 meter. So that's the standard spacing for cashew. And with that spacing, you'll be having around 170, within 170 to 180, within that range. So you'll be having on that. So the planting, the seedling costs around 500 naira upward. And the best place you can get your seedling from is from CRIN, Cocoa Research Institute. So that is the institute that have the mandate for cashew in Nigeria. So you can get your seedling from Cocoa Research Institute in Ibadan. And if you don't want to get you can actually raise your own seedling yourself. So if you, but by doing so, you have to identify, you have to know the tree you want to get your seed from. That's the first stage. So when you identify, you see a tree that is producing very well, that is disease free, and you like to replicate that kind of tree in your own farm. You can get cashew kernel from there, or cashew nut. So when you get the cashew nut, you wash it, you soak it overnight. The one that floats, you take them away. The one that didn't float, you plant them in the small polythene bag. And after like a week or two, you should be able to see some sprouting. So what are the best type of seedling to plant? We have different type of seedling. We have the local seedling, we have the Brazilian jumbo, we have the Indian dwarf, we have the hybrid, and we have a whole lot of them. But I will advise you not to just jump on the bandwagon of I want to plant the Brazilian jumbo, because the nuts are big. This is something I do, because based on my new experience, I've discovered that these exporters, the Oyinbos, the white people that come around during the cashew period, they prefer the local variety. And one of the reasons I got to know is that it's because the local variety the nuts have weight. I don't know how they just come about it, but they are the one buying it. So they prefer the local variety. So now, what you can do to improve the local variety is to plant the grafted local variety. When you plant the grafted local variety, you'll be able to improve your yield, and you'll be able to decrease the year of fruiting. Because if you plant the direct seed, you have to wait for like 4, 5, 6 years. But if you plant the grafted one, you'll be able to reduce the waiting period to about 2 to 3 years. So that's one of the advantage of planting grafted. So having said that, the site selection, you have to select your site. What are the type of land, the location that is best for cashew cultivation? So first and first, let me talk about the agroecological zone. So cashew can be grown in about 25 to 27 states in Nigeria. But when it comes to its productivity, cashew is known to be highly productive only in the savannah region of the country. And that is what explains why cashew production is more in some part of Oyo State, like Ogbomoso, like Okeogun axis of Oyo State, and Kogi State, Kwara State, and places that have savanna agroecological zone. So it's not that cashew will not do well outside other states. You can plant cashew in Southeast, some other part of South, some place in Southwest. They will do well. They will grow and they will produce. But the productivity, you cannot compare the productivity with what you have in the places I just mentioned. Kwara State, Oyo State, Ogbomoso, particularly in Oyo State, Kogi State. In these places, cashew tree produce optimally because the condition there is more favorable to them. Cashew doesn't really need too much rain. That is why cashew will not do well, mostly well in the rainforest. It needs rain, but it also needs at least 4 months of dry season. So, and you know, cashew as a seasonal crop, they produce well when we have a higher degree of harmattan. So after the harmattan, you will see cashew coming out and all this. So that's that about site selection. So you need a land that is flat, that is fertile, and that is not waterlogged. So that is the kind of land you need. So what are the management practices? The management practices, the most important one is the weeding, especially when you at the initial stage of your establishment. You have to take care of your weeding very well if you want the farm to be productive for you. So you weed it. You don't let bush overpower you on your farm. So, and to do this, you can do intercropping, depending the time the cashew tree will come to fruiting. And another thing is that you have to be doing pruning and training. So especially when you plant the hybrid, the grafted one, you have to be doing the pruning and the training. So that is what will encourage the cashew tree to produce more flower and to produce more fruit for you. So that is basically what you need to know about the management. So the harvesting will normally happen after the flowering, and this one will take up to within 2 to 3 months. You harvest everything. So because cashew is a seasonal crop, so within 2 to 3 months you harvest your crop. This is being done every week. You have to be going to your farm every week to harvest your cashew. So talking about marketing, cashew is a kind of crop that you don't need to do much work on the marketing. If you have cashew during the cashew period, the exporter and the middleman will be the one running after you. Some people will even pay you ahead for your farm. So that is how lucrative the business is. And last year, if my memory still serves me right, a ton of cashew goes for as high as 650,000 naira. So, and on an hectare, if you manage your farm very well, and during the prime period of your cashew tree, as in when they are 10 years old, during that prime period, you can have on an hectare, you can have 1.5 ton, you can have 2 ton per hectare to harvest. So I'm talking about the nut now, not talking about the juice. The juice is another way by which you can get money. So with this, I think I've been able to motivate you, and you got one information or the other. So if you actually got value from this video, kindly give it a like, share with your friends, and for further question, observation concerning this topic, kindly drop it in the comment section. Then we'll take the conversation from there. Thank you for your time, and see you on my next video. Sheshe.